I've been going through it back to back. I started in October of last year with Ace Attorney, then Justice for All, then Trials and Tribulations, then Ace Attorney Investigations, and then this. And then next I'll be doing, like after this finishes, Apollo Justice, then Dual Destinies, then Spirit of Justice, and then hopefully The Great Ace Attorney, which was has recently been fan translated for both 3DS and Android. But for Apollo Justice, Dual Destiny and Spirit of Justice, and The Great Ace Attorney, I'll be doing the Android versions, just because they look better and perform better. Either way, so Mr. Edgeworth? I went on a bit of a tangent there, my bad. I've heard many dark rumours surrounding Von Karma. He's a prosecutor who forges evidence, fabricates testimonies, and makes backroom deals. Yeah, I've heard that too. But what does that have to do with this? I try to avoid judging others based on rumours. And I didn't let those rumours influence my opinion on Von Karma, until today. It seems he is a man who would distort the truth. Distort the truth? You don't mean forgery? I do. And I can't allow him to get away with this. Oh, we're walking up to him. You bastard! I must return to the prosecutor's office for now. Not a word to that attorney. Roger. I'm pointing at the wall. What do you want, defense attorney? I want to know the truth that you've been hiding. Oh, that finger snap. Fool, are you trying to mislead the police investigation again? If you interfere with the investigation anymore, I'll be forced to reprimand you myself. Police? No. My objection is with you. What? Isn't it a prosecutor's job to ensure justice for criminals? What are you saying? I have no time to debate the job of a prosecutor with you. However, I will tell you one thing. Finger snap. My job is to ensure all those I prosecute are found guilty. Before the perfect proof, there can be no room for doubt. And to find that perfect proof, you would even stoop to forgery. I was wondering what you were going on about. You intend to accuse me of forgery, don't you? Yes. And it's for that reason you did not allow Detective Bad to investigate. Oh. What do you mean? The real reason Detective Bad wasn't investigating was not so he could keep an eye on us. It was to hide the fact that you never found the body. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, that still wouldn't work. I was going to say we found the body in the present, but that would be 18 years after this. In which case the body would be withered and all sorts. It would look a lot more gross. What? They never found the body. You cretins, you will cease with these ludicrous accusations. I will not tolerate any further insults. In that case, let us verify the body. If you do, we will have evidence that shows whether I am right or not. The burden of proof falls on you, defense attorney. I have no reason to comply with your baseless conjecture. Capcom. Must have noticed it too, the lack of bloodstains at the crime scene. So why did the blood vanish? And more importantly, where did it go? Foolishness. Why would anyone erase just the blood in the chest that contained the body? Yes, that's exactly right. If the body had been found there, the disappearing bloodstains would have no meaning at all. However, what if the body was already gone? To erase the traces of the body being there, one would have to get rid of the bloodstains as well. Why make such a fuss over those bloodstains? It seems like a trivial detail to me. Or are you saying that you can show me where those bloodstains went? In court, everything must be said with evidence. Isn't that right, Von Karma? In that case, I'll show you the evidence supporting my claim. Which piece of evidence shows where the blood in Mr. Messer's room went? I wonder. Wait, where was it? Oh, it's that. Okay. Found in the fountain water. Whoop! Take that! Perfect! There were traces of the victim's blood found in the fountain. Uh-oh, he's sweating. Traces of Mr. Messer's Anised blood. Chocolate were also found in this very fountain. In other words, the blood was washed down the stream, which then flowed into the fountain. All of this points to only one possibility. After the body was removed, someone erased the bloodstains. Oh! Von Karma? Where was the body really found? If you really found the body, you should be able to answer. How do you know this information? How do you know the results of the water composition test of the fountain? Because I allowed them to investigate. Bad. Always a thorn in my side. From here on out, I will not allow you to associate any further with this case. It's not like you were letting me do much anyway. Von Karma, you still haven't answered my question. Or, are you admitting to the fact that you didn't find the body after all? Tisk tisk tisk. You say I never found the body. Where is your evidence? He's never going to confess. I have nothing further to say to you. Gregory Edgeworth. This matter will be decided in court. We'll see just how well your logic holds up there. To be fair, the breakdowns there aren't really all that many in this. Like in the investigation games. The people that usually have a breakdown are the murderers, and that's basically it. That's the only people that have breakdowns. Von Karma, I know your methods are wrong. I promise, without fail, I will expose the truth you've hidden. Although I do find this incredible, the fact we get to play as Edgeworth's father is just real cool. Alright. Detective Bad, I'm sorry. It's because you let me investigate that. No, this is bound to happen. Sooner or later. This is also the first time I have been restricted in my investigation. Your theory that they never found the body sounds pretty close to the mark. That I will make clear in court. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know. Even though I'm no longer in charge of this case. Then, though I'm very sorry about this, I have one more favour to ask of you. Actually, wait. I just realised, the people in the Ace Attorney games that have breakdowns, it's always only the killer. Yeah. I've only just realised. For some reason I thought like just NPCs or whatever would have breakdowns. No, it's always the murderers. Man, cool. By the way, then, though I'm very sorry about this, I have one more favour to ask of you. Hey, what are you guys whispering about? I want to know too. This will be my trump card in court. The information I've gathered up until now should be enough to prove Mr. Master's innocence. But, if all else fails, I'll have this ready. Your trump card. You'll see at the trial. Wow, I get to be at the trial too? Of course. You are my assistant, after all. I'll be an Ace Attorney too next year. Von Karma will never beat the two of us. Right. Although I hope to clear Mr. Master's name before you become a lawyer. If Von Karma is to be my opponent, he'll want the trial ended in a day. That's right. We have to save Master Jeff as fast as we can. After all, this is you we're talking about. I'm sure you'll beat Von Karma. How? I'm really curious as to how this is going to end. Jeff Master, alone in a dark cell, arrested on false charges. I must expose Von Karma's lies if I am to save him. God, can you imagine if we actually get to do one of those trials? That'd be awesome. Like an actual, like, court trial. Like the previous games. Bum. Okay, it's been an hour and 45 minutes. Do I just finish the case? Or will it take too long? I really don't know. Oh yeah. God, we're back in the present. Jesus, it's confusing. So, what's just happened in the present day is we found a body in the fountain. With all this reading, I need to make sure I have drinks. Right. Let's go. And that's all Uncle Ray knows about the IS-7 incident. So that's what happened in my father's last case. The truth of the IS-7 incident. What happened at the trial? In the end, Von Karma defeated us. Ah, okay. So that's actually the end of their case, I guess. So you couldn't prove Mr. Master's innocence. We had gathered plenty of evidence to prove it. But Von Karma was even more despicable than we thought. He was. A prosecutor who would do anything for his guilty verdict. That's right, and he really did use any means necessary. Because of this, the trial dragged on for about a year, until it finally reached a conclusion. I'll never forget that fateful day, when the judgment was passed down, the 28th of December. The protagonist of this game is Edgeworth. For the most part, you play as Gregory, but it's only in one case, I think. But the investigation games you always play as Miles Edgeworth. It's still part of Phoenix Wright, yeah. They're side spin-off games, I suppose. You've got Ace Attorney 1, 2, and 3. So like Justice for All, Trials of Tribulations in the first game. And then you have Investigations 1 and 2. This was never released in the West. It was fan-translated, so this is a fan translation, which is incredible. It's actually called Gyakuten Kenji 2. And essentially the reason I'm playing these before Apollo Justice is because I looked up the timeline of the games, and it basically goes Ace Attorney, Justice for All, Trials of Tribulations, Investigations 1, Investigations 2, Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney, Dual Destinies, Spirit of Justice. I'm pretty sure the Great Ace Attorney falls probably before all of these, but never mind. I'm doing that last because it's not translated, or it's not working currently. Either way, I'll never forget that fateful day when the judgment was passed down, the 28th of December. But the investigation games are really good. Like, really good. It's actually cool to be able to move around, and not just... It's more than just a visual novel at that point. It's April now, so it's been a little over 17 years. How time flies. The 28th of December, 17 years ago. I was watching from the gallery that day. Wasn't the 28th of December also the time for the DL6 incident? That was the 28th, was it not? Or was it the 29th? It was in December, I remember that much. Why is it always in December? Before the trial, your old man noticed that Mr. Master was acting strangely. He was at the breaking point, both mentally and physically. He wanted to be found guilty. No, Mr. Master didn't fake a confession, did he? Yeah, that was what Von Karma was aiming for from the start. Oh. When your old man tried to expose the fact that the body had not been found, Von Karma used the power of his police cronies to quash that argument. He even went as far as to prepare a fake autopsy report. Wow! Then they made Mr. Master give a false testimony and confess to being an accomplice. With Mr. Master's confession, the situation quickly became dire. But your old man had a trump card up his sleeve. Detective Bad? Hey! What was the trump card he was talking to Detective Bad about? Oh, that was probably what he said. Yeah, that trump card was to be our insurance, in case Mr. Master confessed. Oh, right. The Ace Attorney that's on Xbox One is... It's basically the trilogy, so you've got Ace Attorney, Justice for All, and Trials and Tribulations. Altogether, you've got about 70 hours worth of a game from all of those. They're all fantastic as well. To be fair, the main character for Phoenix Wright has always been, or for Ace Attorney has always been Phoenix Wright. Aside from, I suppose Apollo Justice is when it kind of goes off, and then Dual Destinies you have 3. I think it's 3 protagonists, and same with Spirit of Justice. So he had asked Detective Bad to have Mr. Master's interrogation recorded. Detective Bad wanted to know the truth too, huh? After he was dropped from the investigation, he never stopped caring about the case. Even when he was involved with other large cases, he really was the definition of a true detective. Oh, look at him! The defense presented the recording which proves that the confession was forced. Well, it seems the detective in charge of the initial investigation and interrogation, Rip Lacer, took all of the blame and was charged and dismissed. Still, at the trial, your old man exposed Von Karma's corruption, and Von Karma received his first penalty from the then Chief Prosecutor. So that's what caused him to bear a grudge towards Gregory. The only penalty in his 40 years of prosecution, which is what led to the death of Edgeworth. However, Mr. Master didn't want the trial to continue any longer, and the curtains closed on the trial that day with the verdict of guilty. My memory of the time is fuzzy, but I was also there, watching my father's final trial. And I think his final regret became my own. Your old man wanted a retrial to prove Master's innocence, but he passed on before he could fulfill his wish. After getting entangled in another case. The DL6. Hey, there it is. It breaks my heart even now. But I didn't return home with him that day. And what's more, to blind myself from my own worthlessness. Uncle Ray put all of his hatred on you as a traitor for being Von Karma's pupil. Oh wow. I'm sorry. Don't be. It's natural you would hate me. After I became a prosecutor, I was able to get Von Karma to show me the case file. Mr. Mercer was found guilty for the murder of Isaac Dover. That's not right. Wasn't Mr. Master found guilty of being an accomplice? But this case file says guilty of murder. There shouldn't be anything unresolved in the cases handled by Manfred Von Karma. Wait, can I take a look at that file? It looks like the charges have been rewritten. What? Look at this. Jeffrey Master, 39 creator of dessert contest. The victim's body was found inside a dessert made by the suspect. This led to his arrest in jail. He was diagnosed with hypoglycemia, and he was treated by medicine. After his own confession, he was an accomplice to the murder. The charges, accomplice to murder. Convicted as an accomplice to the murder. This is a copy of the original case file I received from the courts. Why would the charge be altered? This file was given to you by Von Karma, right? Maybe he just didn't want you to know the truth. Since you're Gregory's son. He would have wanted to avoid another retrial before the statute of limitations ran out after all. So what I had come to believe back then had all been a lie. If you didn't know about it, just make sure you know it from now on. The statute of limitations has long expired, but the truth still sleeps right here. After your old man passed away, Uncle Ray took over as Mr. Master's defense attorney. Although Von Karma also had another prosecutor take over the case. Perhaps he thought that since his opponent was a rookie, he didn't even need to turn up. In the end, the real killer was never found, and Mr. Master was found guilty. No. Is there nothing we can do, even now? Since the killer was never found, he can't withdraw his confession. I found out after the trial that Mr. Master made a deal with Von Karma, because Von Karma had threatened him. Of course. If you don't confess, Catherine Hall will be held under the same charges. That's terrible. I don't think Mr. Master really thought that Kate was the killer, but to protect her, he faked a confession. Miles, on the day that Knightley Boy was killed, why do you think Uncle Ray was at the prison? Ah, I see. You went to see Mr. Master, didn't you? I said I'd visit him every day. I couldn't keep that promise, but I asked Katie Pie to look in on him for me when I couldn't. Through rain or snow she went, every single day without fail. But nothing has changed, and Mr. Master still serves his punishment. Jesus. 18 years, even though he was completely innocent. Shit, that's so sad. Isn't there anything we can do? Shrug. That's why I came here. Because I knew those ice sculptures would be on display here today. So, what are you going to do, Miles? I think I like Ray's theme more than anybody else's. It's just so good. Just listen to it. Ah, God, it's so good. I'm a prosecutor. My position is different from you and my father. Miles. But, moving past my position, what I want as Miles Edgeworth is to know the truth of these two cases. It is for that reason that I am here. You really are your father's son. Well then, if that's what you've decided, I'll support you all the way. I better leave the IS-7 documents and evidence with you then. Alright, here are the documents. By the way, the parts in orange are Uncle Ray's old notes. Okay. Case files received from Shields. Parts in orange are Shields' notes. Touch the check button for details. Thank you. And now, here's the IS-7 evidence. There's a lot, so make sure to look it over while you investigate. Received a lot of IS-7 evidence from Mr. Shields. Right. I'll check through it later. Anyway, there are so many strange things about this case. Indeed. Those involved in the case 18 years ago have reunited, and another incident occurs. Replicas of the statues from 18 years ago were displayed in the Winter Palace, and poison gas was released in the Autumn Palace, which had been disguised as the Winter Palace. The two chemicals in the Pisces case, normalium and fatalium, were mixed, causing an outbreak of poisonous gas, or poison gas. The victim of the poison gas was Dean Gustavia, a person involved in the IS-7 incident. Because he was unconscious, he received treatment in the Zodiac Art Gallery's infirmary. Finally, the dead body found floating in the fountain. Who is it? It looked like Dover. And once again, the ice sculptures have melted. Like, that looks like Dover's body, but I don't think it is. Bloody hope not. There are deep connections between the two cases. It's possible there are still some clues left from 18 years ago. Right, let's get started. Ah, fuck the best. Of course. Just 1 second. Don't tell me you've forgotten about me. Didn't I tell you that I'm the one in charge of this case? Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you intend to continue disrupting Sebastian's investigation, she'll bring the hammer down. The word guilty will be added to your PIC report. What does she mean, guilty? Please allow me to assist you in your investigation as before. I appreciate your proposal, but I'm afraid I must overrule it. That was fast. Even though we're short on hands to identify the victim right now, it's only a matter of time until we figure it out. In that case, I shall take that load off your shoulders at once. Regarding the identity of the unidentified body, one person comes to mind. Really? Then tell us. Very well. It's not just the sculptures that have made a comeback from the incident 18 years ago. The body in the fountain, No fucking way! No fucking way! Whoa, it's Jeffrey Master. How? Oh, I shouldn't laugh. Just looking at the age, that made me chuckle. Age, dead. Oh, God. I still don't see how would his body have lasted for 18 years. There's no way it would have. Unless it was... I wonder what happens to a body if it's submerged? Like, if it's underwater for a prolonged period of time? Would it cause it to not decompose? Because isn't it the air that causes shit to decompose and stuff? I don't really know. Talking out my ass. I don't see how that's a thing, or how that's possible. But sure, whatever. It's likely that the identity of the body is the victim of the murder that occurred here 18 years ago. Isaac Dover. Huh? It's Icy's body? Hey, who's that? I've never heard of him. Mr. Isaac Dover. A truly great sculptor. But he was better known as Pierre Hakari. The sculptors on display here in the museum are all his creations. Ah, so in other words, that sculptor was the best. Somehow, I feel a strong kinship to him. And he was the victim in the IS-7 incident. She knows. She knew about the IS-7 incident? Prosecutor Edgeworth, the IS-7 incident occurred 18 years ago. And what's more, the police reported the removal of the body. That's what's on the record, but I wonder if that really is the truth. What are you saying? The defense attorney in the IS-7 incident claimed that the body was never found. Not that the prosecution would ever admit to such a thing. Okay. A phone be ringing. What? Hello? Really? Is something wrong, Sebastian? No, it's just... they said that they know who the victim is. And it's Isaac Dover. It's just as that prosecutor says. It's Dover. No, it can't be. It would seem my father's suspicions were correct. What is it, Judge Courtney? Have you finally realised that I'm much more helpful than Mr. DeBest? Hey, are you trying to steal DeBest's position for yourself? I'm doing no such thing. I just want to know the truth. And for that to happen, we need to cooperate, no? The truth is none of your concern. Oh, I really like Ray's voice. She sounds so good. I don't think that's true, Courtney Pie. You again. Uncle Ray assisted the defense attorney involved in the IS-7 incident. The one who claimed that Mr. Dover's body was never found. The prosecution denied it at the time, but now the body has been discovered here. In other words, the IS-7 investigation was unjust. And isn't it the duty of the PIC to investigate corrupt prosecutors? Then wouldn't you want to cooperate with those who were involved in the case? Unless you have an ulterior motive. Oh wow. Now that I think about it, Judge Courtney knew about the IS-7 incident, so it seems she really is here because of the PIC. Even if you're related to the incident, I don't see how Prosecutor Edgeworth is. He's Gregory Edgeworth's son. There we go. He is the son of the attorney in that case, and a prosecutor taught by Von Karma himself. And what's more, he was in the audience at the IS-7 trial. I'm sure there are many points he can enlighten us on. Very well. I will allow you to cooperate. However, your investigation must not hinder the other investigators. The Winter Palace is currently being investigated, but the Fountain Patio is open to you. That's my Courtney Pie. Now we're talking. As thanks, I will allow you to have a hug with Uncle Ray. Overruled. Oh man. If I feel your cooperation isn't needed, I will have to ask you to leave. Understood? Ah, isn't that great, Miles? Now we can start investigating. You really helped us there. Uncle Ray did it all for himself. Right, do I actually get to investigate now? Alright, Uncle Ray's going to investigate too. So let me know if you figure something out. You got it. Oh, there he goes. There he goes away. Boom. Right then. Okay, let's investigate let's begin the investigation. Okay, let's do this. We still don't know where Mr. Dover's body and the Normalium were hidden. We don't have enough information to go on. You're right. Our first priority is the Normalium. Well, Normalium is used in washing detergents, paints, and the like. If I recall, it's a red liquid with a minty aroma. So minty aroma, Normalium is a red liquid with a minty aroma. Okay! Well then, let's get looking for that Normalium. Alright. I should probably look at all the evidence I have too. Oh, it's not even all that much. Contains the recipe for the drug that will cure the taste disorder. There's only finger marks behind in Mr. Master's room, no fingerprints were found. Photo of the murder weapon in the IS-7 incident, stained with Dover's blood. Photo of Gustavia. Dover and their sons, Gustavia's son, always came to visit up until the finals. Okay. Nothing new. Whoa. Whoa. Why is my game in slow-mo? What happened? Is mine like... Oh man, I'm playing in slow-mo. Oh bloody hell, what's happening? I don't know, but OBS is taking up even more stuff. Oh boy, this is bad. No, I didn't want to do logic. Okay, this is really bad. OBS is like spiked, and I don't know why. Ah! God, tech difficulties are the fucking worst. I'm just gonna save state and maybe reset. I don't fucking know what to do. Shit. What state was I on? It doesn't fucking matter. Save state. God, why is that? Oh god, I don't like it. Ah! Everything's like really slow. This is bad. There. Maybe. Can my computer go back to being normal? For some reason, OBS is like absolutely fucking spiked. Not good. I'll see if it's still in fucking slow motion. If it is, I'll have to just end the session. And I think it's gonna be. Yeah, it definitely does not seem good. Yeah, we're in slow-mo. There's no way I can play the game like this. OBS has decided to fuck me, I guess. And the worst part is I can't restart OBS, unless I want to restart the stream. Fuck. What can I do? Screw it. I guess I don't have a choice. I'll have to call it the end of the session, sadly. I'll finish this case next session, I suppose. Unfortunately, I've had to stop it in a really awkward place, though. Oh well, can't really be helped, unfortunately. And that's going to be the end of this session, sadly. Thanks so much for watching, I hope you've enjoyed, and until next time, take care. I really hope the recording's not broken.